Hello, I'm the Infinity Theorist, Quake spin-off enthusiast, and spoiler warning for What If, episodes 1 through 9. Okay, and so, this was What If episode 9, the season finale was a good finale. I really, really enjoyed it. It's my third favorite episode of the season, it's like, I really like it. I really liked episode 4, too. Episode 4 was my favorite. Episode 8 was my second favorite. And episode 9 is my third favorite. I love all those episodes. And, yeah. And so, yeah, here's my review and analysis of What If episode 9. Okay, so, let's start with, like, a little recap, little notes taken, just talk about the episode for a little bit. So, at the beginning of the episode, we start with, like, the Captain America, the Winter Soldier opening, and instead this is Captain Carter, the Winter Soldier. That's fun. Batrock's mentioned. Batroc the Leaper, and the guy that Captain America fights a couple times. And then, yeah. Oh, at one point, there's some sword and shield wordplay, and Nat calls Peggy's wordplay cute wordplay. That's important. Well, sort of important. It's just a recurring theme. But yeah, or not, it's not even a theme. It's just like a recurring, like, little phrase. Anyway, Bernard in accounting is mentioned, and that is possibly a reference to Bernard Stark, the flamingo from Agent Carter, and that's interesting. Jarvis, the Edwin Jarvis, right? It's Edwin Jarvis. I've seen the show. I should know this. Edwin Jarvis and Peggy Carter did not really enjoy Bernard the flamingo's company, but yeah. Also, what if his name was Steve is just an attack made by Nat at Peggy. And yeah, this universe is Nat. And then we get the whole more than a shield, or I thought you were more than a shield line, which is directly taken from Captain America, the first Avenger. The Winter Soldier. Yeah, and that's something. But this time, Peggy says that she's a good dancer. And yeah. But then, right before she does anything, the Watcher comes and chooses her, saying that she has been chosen, and there we go. She's right there. And yeah, also, so then, Star-Lord T'Challa saves Peter Quill in his universe from Peter's father, from Quill's father, and so that's great. And then T'Challa has been chosen, and then the Infinity Gauntlet exists now, and they're melting the Infinity Gauntlet. Tony Stark says he wants a suit of armor around the world, and then Gamora was chosen. But I'm sorry, Stark is alive? Tony is alive in this universe? What? For the first time in the entire What If series, Tony Stark is alive in a universe. And that's, well, Tony Stark, well, not necessarily. There are some universes where we assume he's probably alive, but, like, we just didn't see him in the episode at all, so it doesn't really matter. But yeah. Also, the funny thing is, the Gamora episode is actually, it was an episode. It was going to be an episode for season 1, but they had to cut it and move it to season 2, because I guess they weren't ready to release it and pandemic stuff, and whenever What If came out, they were going to do it as a season 1 episode, but they couldn't, and so now that's going to be season 2, so now we don't even really know what Gamora's whole deal is, and like why she even has the Infinity Crusher, because that's just like to us it seems like a huge, like, just plot device coincidence, but I'm sure that it's pretty important to her story, and I'm excited to see where that goes. And yeah, next, Killmonger is about to be tried for murder, but then he is immediately chosen to go fight or whatever. And also Thor is about to go on a date, but he can't. Also, he says nobody messes with Vegas at one point. Kind of funny. And yeah. Oh, also the Watcher stutters a few times because he has to get Thor's attention. And instead of just, like, I don't know, he can't really stop anything. But instead of, like, trying to get his attention even more, he just, like, picks him up and just, yeah. Now Thor has been chosen. And then now we go to a little pub. And, also, yeah, in that pub, Thor gets a beer from Strange, and it's the same kind of, like, refilling beer as... Well, actually, I don't know if it's refilling. They didn't never really say. But it could be the same kind of refilling beer as in Ragnarok. Remember in Ragnarok, Thor had that cup that just kept refilling. And also, I think in Doctor Strange, the movie Doctor Strange, post-credit scene, was it in Doctor Strange? I think so. And yeah. Anyway, the Watcher comes out and tells everyone that they have been chosen for a mission to save stuff, and so yeah, he has scoured eternity, which, I mean, Eternity, I'm pretty sure, is a Marvel Comics character. Eternity, there's just like, yeah, Eternity is a Marvel Comics character, and yeah, I don't know. That's just something thought I would reference. Obviously, the Watcher probably just means eternity itself, the concept, not the character, because eternity is a character, and yeah. Anyway, then the team talks about how, like, hey, so what? You just took us from all over the galaxy to save the universe, and no, obviously not. He took them from all over the multiverse. He's just to save the multiverse. And yeah, they're gonna have to save the multiverse now. They're the Guardians of the Multiverse, which is a great title, and makes for great marketing. Anyway, there's just a giant. Also, so Thor tries to leave the pub because he doesn't want anything to do with it, and there's just a giant hole. So this is probably just some kind of pocket dimension. Probably in the Nexus of All Realities, or the Mirror Dimension, as some theories. I've seen a theory on TikTok that says that's where the Mirror Dimension is where Uatu is. But I really do think it's the Nexus of All Realities, the MCU's version at least. So I'm just going to call it the Nexus of All Realities. And yeah, so in the Nexus of All Realities, I'm guessing is where Doctor Strange, Misguided Pizza, as I like to call him on this channel, that's where he is, and all that stuff, and that's where he put it in the Nexus of All Realities. And yeah, so there's just a giant hole outside, and yeah, also then Strange explains the Infinity Stones, Misguided Pizza explains the Infinity Stones, and yeah, the suicide mission, and then they get Chinese food. Yeah, also Thor's good at attracting unwanted attention. Gamora introduces us to the Infinity Crusher, which is exactly what it sounds like. It crushes Infinity Stones. And yeah, they go to some planet on some universe where Ultron has invaded because there was no intelligent life. And yeah, and so I guess that kind of confirms some philosophical questions in the MCU. Right? Because there's a whole philosophical question of, would the universe exist if there was no one to observe it? And apparently, yes. In the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse, yes, the universe would still exist if there was no one there to observe it, which is interesting. Anyway, Strange mentions how Captain Carter asks about Captain Carter in Strange's universe, and Strange mentions that no, it's actually Captain America. Steve Rogers got the serum, and that's of course what we know. Also, Thor trusts everyone is also something. Then there's a toast, face death. Death is a part of the plan. That's what Obang told Strange, and then Doctor Strange just goes into a whole existential crisis. And that's great. And so, of course, I think it was T'Challa who just took over for Strange, for the toast, and said, to the Guardians of the Multiverse, you know? And they toasted Guardians of the Multiverse. And yeah. And then, Thor brings unwanted attention, as he said he was going to do. And then, of course, there's a whole protection spell. It's good. And then, of course, Thor's battle cry is great because it's just "Viva Las Vegas." That's his battle cry, and that's fun. And then a bunch of Mjolnirs just pop out of nowhere and start attacking people. Well, not even attacking people. Attacking Ultron. I'm sorry. I'm tired. I'm making a lot of these. Anyway, just a bunch of Mjolnirs just start attacking Ultron, and that's great. Ultron's reaction's even better because it's Strange. I've never heard that battle cry before, and yeah, it's great. Yeah. Also, they stole the Soul Stone. That's cool. And then zombies come in, and Zombie Wanda Maximoff comes in, and that's just great. That's useful. Yeah. And then the planet blows up, and yeah. They end up in a new universe, which is the universe Ultron's from, and there's Natasha Romanoff. And yeah, and Captain Carter proves that she knows Nat by telling her how her father is Alexei. Oh no, her father's not Alexei. Her father is Ivan, and her dad is Alexei. The one who raised her is Alexei. And actually, at that point in time, in both universes, Nat didn't know who her father was. She didn't know Ivan was her father, and so I don't know how that happened. Anyway. And also, Captain Carter talks about how in her universe, her and Nat were, I believe the term is BFFs, and I mean, I don't know. They could also be, they could also be more than that. They might be they felt like more than that. Like, the way they talked to each other felt like more than that. But yeah. Yeah, also, Ultron questions why the Guardians won't die, and of course it's because Strange, whatever. But then Strange eats a blast of something that was supposed to destroy an entire galaxy. He just, like, eats it. At first I thought it was a Soul Stone, but it wasn't. But he just, like, he just eats a giant explosion. And it's kind of funny. And yeah. And then Thor does his whole Vegas battle cry again, but, like, quietly. He just says, Vegas! And yeah. The Infinity Crusher tries crushing the stones, but it doesn't work because in every universe, everything is unique about that universe, meaning the stones are actually different and probably have a different chemical makeup. So while they still might work in every universe, as proven multiple times by Endgame and What If, then they're still different, and like devices that contain them do have a little bit of trouble sometimes. And yeah. Yeah. And then Ultron realizes that it's Strange that has everything. And then there's an arrow, and then Nat gets the arrow, and like the whole sword and shield thing and cute wordplay comes back, and and that's something. And then Nat does this for Clint, and Zola ends up uploading himself into Ultron, and yeah. And his new objective, his objective used to be Hydra domination, right? And now it's just destroy Ultron, and yeah. And so now there's a virus, and now Ultron has a virus, which is of course Zola himself. Well, this pen works now. Sorry, this pen wasn't working yesterday, and you don't care. This pen wasn't working yesterday, and now it's working. And yeah, Killmonger takes Ultron's suit at one point, and yeah. Oh, also, I want to mention something. T'Challa still calls Killmonger cousin, even though he's from a different universe, and that's great. I like that. Oh yeah, and we also get a sort of comic accurate Zola with the face on the stomach thing, and yeah. Oh, and then Ultron and Killmonger fight over the stones, and the stones don't know where to go. And Strange realized they were never meant to win; they were meant to separate the stones from each other. And yeah, and then Strange creates his own little pocket prison, his little prison pocket universe made out of a prison pocket universe. There we go. Yeah, Misguided Pizza makes a prison pocket universe, and that's yeah. And yeah, and the Watcher actually saw everything, and now that was Strange's sacrifice, even though it really wasn't much of a sacrifice because he doesn't have anything to lose. That's That's Mr. Daddy Peach's words, not mine. And yeah, so Strange will have to watch over to make sure they don't escape. And yeah, and the multiverse owes the Guardians a debt of gratitude. And yeah, time to go, Cap. And so yeah. And then at the beginning, so the first person to go is of course Captain Carter, and the whole line, time to go, Cap. And and she's like, but what? I'd rather return to another time. And of course she can't, because this time this universe needs Captain Carter. And yeah, and then everyone else goes pretty much without hesitation. And Natasha Romanoff, except for Natasha Romanoff, she will not go back because she does not want to go. Oh, also, Nat talks about how their stories weren't real to the Watcher. And think about this. That's pretty much the same thing in and well, actually, let me talk about the Watcher's response first, because the Watcher's response is that their stories are everything to him, right? And so that's actually kind of the same thing as what happened in Black Widow with the whole thing about Nat and Yelena's childhood being fake, and Yelena's response, of course, being like, don't say that, it was real to me. That's kind of, it's the same energy, it's the same thing, and I like that. I really like that parallel. But yeah, they can't fix the universe anymore. So yeah, and instead, the door, and so Nat refused to go through the door. And turns out the door was kind of a metaphor anyway. They're already in the specific universe it's supposed to be in. And turns out, Uatu left Nat in a new universe. And this universe has already lost their widow. And it's the episode 3 reality. And so, yeah, all of the episodes combined in some way in this episode. And it's the episode 3 reality. And this is great. And so, yeah. I was told you were dead is a line from Loki, and I was told the same thing from Nat. Also, there's the Nick Fury's there, and he says that he knows that Nat isn't his Nat, but that she's got her spirit. And yeah, and then the end of the episode is the Watcher talking about how every story is his home, and he will protect the multiverse to the end. And yeah. And then there's a post-credit scene where Nat and, it's Nat and Captain Carter, yeah, go to the ship, and they find the Hydra Stomper with somebody inside. And yeah, and at the end, a piano solo version of the melody of Captain America: The First Avenger theme plays, and I just love that so much, because it's not even the full orchestra, it's just the piano, it's just the melody, and I love it. And yeah, and it's slower too, and I love when movies do that. It's and TV shows, it's great. And so yeah, obviously this is setting up Steve Rogers for season 2 of What If, and I'm excited to see where this goes. And yeah, so that's all I have in my notes. So now let's get to the review part. This review was what if the Watcher broke his oath, and like that's such like a meta title kind of, and it's a what if about the Watcher, who's the Watcher is the one telling the what if stories, and it's such an I love the title. It's I'll give the title like a 97 out of 100. As for the episode, I really didn't enjoy it. Wasn't my favorite episode, but it was one of my favorites, and I did very much love it. And all the characters combining worked very well together. And so yeah, I'll give the episode a 95 out of 100. And there we go. The average score for this episode is 96 out of 100. And this episode was great, and I loved it. And you can watch another video back in the top left, top right, bottom left corner of the screen. But before you do that, because the bottom right corner of the screen, to subscribe and then turn on notifications. You can see more videos like this. And yeah, and there'll be a lot of them coming out very soon, so I can catch up for 2022. And that is everything I have for today. Goodbye.